one red, pour out this Jameson for ancestors to swig.
You rescue me yet again. You put me first everywhere. You make me feel better than the mother do. You rescue me yet again. You put me first everywhere. You make me feel better than the mother do.
Thanks for tuning to the Black Fathers Initiative of Cleveland. Really appreciate the love. This is our YouTube page where we talk about black empowerment, black love, black relationships, fatherhood, motherhood, all black everything. So this time, make sure you guys click the link in the bio, like, subscribe, you know what to do. Really, really appreciate the love. So this time around, trying something new. This is 19 Keys with Dame Dash. They spoke a little bit about fatherhood and fatherlessness in our community. So you definitely check out the whole interview. It's about 2 hours long with him and Dame Dash, but it's a great interview. And of course, like I say, you know me, I'm going to talk about anything that has to do with fatherhood and stuff like that. So let's see what 19 Keys and Dame had to say about, I believe it was not a fatherless nation, but a fatherless world. I believe that's what the title was. Let's see.
A mothered society, right? But without the fathering, because the statistic came out, they said that if a daughter or any child, right, if growing up with a single parent mother household, right, leaves you with less chances of being a successful adult, if you will, thriving, healthy adult, versus being in a two-parent household or being with the father. Right? There's certain comforts and protections that you're going to enjoy being with the father, right? Every young boy and young daughter, they look up to their father like a hero. But when you know your father, you know yourself. You know what he has in you, and you know what you have to overcome. It's never a father's job to make the son like him. It's to make him better. Because, listen, I got these faults in me. I don't want you to be like me. I want you to be better. So your father is your mountain. But if you don't know your mountain, you don't know what's in you. You think that's naturally who you are. Like, I used to get mad. I used to bite my lip before I fight or get anything. I bite my lip so hard it'll bleed. But I realized, staying with my father later on, he was in and out the household. But as a man, I learned to see my parents as human beings. And I seen my father, and every time he got angry, he'd bite the hell out his lip. And I realized that's not my trait, that's his. And the day afterwards, I stopped doing it. I ain't did it since. It don't even come up at all. But it was an unconscious thing. And when you don't know your parents and you don't know your father specifically, you don't know those things that he has within himself that you have to conquer. Because your children are the karma. You inherit that. And I think it's in India, they call it Kamsahara, where you have to go through a whole enlightening and an awakening process to wash over those thought patterns that you inherit from your parents. But if you don't know yourself, then you don't even know what's in you to overcome.
It's true. That's why you can't love nobody unless you can love yourself. And the thing about your children are, no matter what, if my daughter feels pain, it hurts me worse. Period. Facts. If she cry, I feel that shit. If something's scaring her, it's gonna bother me. So exactly, that's why you want to lead by example, because the way I look at people, like you said, you hear a record 9 times, even if you don't like the record, you start knowing the words. So yeah, if you don't have a parent to look at, because the same thing happened to me, I didn't realize how many things that I got from my father until I was at his funeral. And I started to remember, like, damn, my father was a funny dude.
Yeah.
I got my sense of humor from him. He was a fly guy. My mom was too, but, you need to know where you're from and to be able to watch the person that you came from. And you need some things to rub off on you, good and bad, because that's what happens. And that's why it's important to try to be as balanced as possible so that the people you love are watching you be balanced, so that becomes their normal. Because every single good and bad thing.
Now, I'm glad he said that, because I think one of the reasons why we're having so many young men so many emotional young men that, are out here killing their girlfriends. Girlfriend breaks up with him, he shoots her. That's emotional. And that's from seeing and going, and in my opinion, seeing your mother, because your mother is the most emotional person in your life. Your mother's going to be more emotional than your father, because father, we're just not built off emotion. We don't run off emotion. Most men run off logic. Most women run off emotion. So when you are growing up in a single mother household, you're getting all the emotion, but you're not getting any logic. That's why when these kids come out and they're doing these ignorant things, they're pretty much doing illogical things. You feel me? Like killing your girlfriend because she doesn't like you or because she breaks up with you is illogical. Like, there's no logic behind that. Because honestly, there's no reason you should kill a woman because she says no to you or because she doesn't like you anymore. But because you're so emotional about the situation and about her, and you're in love or whatever the case may be, you let your emotions take over. You don't think with logic, which is what your father would have taught you to do. Okay, yeah, you could be emotional. There's nothing wrong with being emotional, but you have to use logic too. Okay, she broke up with me. What is the logical thing to do? Logical thing to do is to say, forget it, go on about my business and cry in the corner. That's how I feel. If that's what I want to do, I'll go cry in my room until I feel better. Or I can go and get my gun and shoot and kill her, which is totally illogical. Like, there's no logic behind that. That's just an emotional response to somebody hurting your feelings. And me personally, I can't say what mothers teach their sons because I'm not there. But what I can tell you I teach my son is that you're going to have good days, you're going to have bad days. Sometimes things are going to go your way, sometimes they're not. But when they don't go your way, bro, there's nothing you can do about it. If you don't get something that you want, that's okay. You know what I mean? There's no reason to cry about it. There's no reason to be sad about it. Hey, you didn't get it this time. Try again next time. You might get it next time. You know what I mean? Oh, I didn't buy you what you wanted this time. Well, maybe next time we go to the store, you'll get what you want. You know what I mean? Like, you don't let your children just be emotional without checking them. And that's what I see a lot of women do. And this is in public. I see a lot of women just let their kids just wild out. Wilding in the spot. The mothers, shh, be quiet. Mothers embarrassed as hell because they have no control over this emotional ass child because you let them be emotional. And now it's hard to check him, especially when they get older, because it's too late. They're already grown into their ways of being an emotional individual. So by the time they're 11, 12 years old and they really start acting out and being emotional and things of that nature, and you like, yeah, this nigga tripping. There's nothing you can do. But unfortunately, that falls on the men and us not being in the household more like we should. Of course, there's many different reasons why we're not there. Jail, drugs, death, whatever you want to call it. Misunderstandings with the mothers, whatever. But we have to start taking whatever steps we need to take as men to be in our children's lives, especially our young men's lives, so that they stop being so emotional and making these illogical decisions that are ruining their lives.
Gets picked up by the people that look up to you. You know what I'm saying? So, you need to see some bad shit, but you need to recognize that as bad. Like you said, once you knew to bite, you knew not to. Mm-hmm. And that's why sometimes there's a support system that you need. Why, I tell you, I always talk to a therapist, a psychologist, and, just to recognize the things that I'm unaware of. Yeah. But the only time you are aware of something that you do that you shouldn't be is when you get hurt. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, you bleed. And like, I wouldn't have known that unless I was bleeding. Right. So you want to try to learn about things before it becomes painful. Like, I don't want to go to the dentist when my tooth hurts. I'm gonna go to the dentist before my tooth. Why do I
Be
have to feel pain to
proactive
go
instead of
fix it?
reactive.
Like, I went to the dentist. I was like, this shit ain't hurt.
Proactive.
That's most
instead of
people signal.
reactive.
By the time it's too late, then I'm gonna check up on it.
So you don't want to go to
Yeah,
but it's just the thing. You don't go to the doctor with program. Look at the way a hospital looks.
right.
It makes it where you don't want to go in there until you have to.
Well, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because it look like a morgue. It look like a place you go to die, not a place where you go to live.
It looks like court and it looks like school.
Yeah.
Same.
There, I would have colors. I would have
Right.
plants and crystals. We got sage in there. It
would be good.
higher. Yeah.
But that's intentional
Yeah.
and it's consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that happens more than once over and over again is more than just it's not a pattern. It's an intentional thing.
Right.
Because you see the result of something, and if you keep doing it the same way, then you go. That means you have the same result.
Yeah.
Right.
So it ain't us
day.
that's we're not recognizing it because
Yeah.
we're in it.
Yeah.
See, the thing about survival mode, it's hard to be strategic. It's hard to play chess when you're in the middle of checkers for some people. Survival mode is checkers. Trying to pay your bill next week.
That's a fact.
It's hard to try to pay your bill in 5 years when you can't pay your bill this week.
Yeah. Just the next move.
But being a business, this is what I'm trying to teach my daughter. Architecting in your present makes your future so much easier. You understand what I'm saying? And whatever happens in your future, you will remember later. So I'm always like, yo, hustle for good memories. An experience could have a good memory attached with it or a bad one. You could be cold, but if you put a jacket on, you could be warm.
Right.
If you know it's cold, put a jacket on.
Yeah.
If you can look
Proactive
at the weather, why
instead
wait
of
to get there
reactive.
to see if it's cold or hot? Why not get there prepared so you could be comfortable? Just take the time to prepare. But if you were
That's why I
surviving,
think God is.
All right, so they're off the fathers, but take time to prepare. That's something that my father taught me. My mother never taught me anything about taking time to prepare. My father taught me taking time to prepare. Actually, what he taught me was it's better to have and not need than to need and not have. So just something like that. In my opinion, that's a father's advice. That's a father's, you're not getting that information from a mother because that's just not how moms think, period. They're mothers, they're women. I mean, you see, he was talking about his daughter. I can say the same thing about my daughter. She does the same thing a lot of times. Sometimes instead of being proactive, she's reactive. She'll, instead of bringing her winter clothes with her or bringing her winter coats, she didn't. So then when it got cold, it was like, oh, Dad, I need my winter stuff down here. Well, you knew you was gonna be, winter comes every year. You knew you was gonna be down there for winter. Why wouldn't you pack your stuff already? But, once again, they're kids, they're young, so they're living and they learning. But as she lives and she learns, I'm quite sure eventually, along the line, she will be being more proactive because first off, it saves time. And no matter what anybody tells you, the most valuable thing you have in this world is time. That's why health is so important, okay? Wealth is not as important as health. Health is wealth. So time is the most valuable currency. So anything that can stop you from wasting time is going to always be a plus, okay? Because that means that you have time to do the things that you may be able to do. But when you're wasting time and you got to do this and got to run here and run there because I forgot to do this and I forgot to do that and now I can't do this because I ain't got no time. That's why you be proactive instead of reactive. So, like I stated, 19 Keys, high-level conversations. Make sure you check that out on YouTube. 19 Keys be dropping some jewels. I rock with him, but I really rock with Dame Dash. That's really why I watch this conversation is because I really rock with Dame Dash. I love what he's done, from leaving Rockefeller to now. In my opinion, he has definitely shown what being a boss is all about and what black entrepreneurship is all about how you invest you invest in yourself, you invest your own money, and you be your own boss and you make moves. You do what you want to do. Really appreciate the conversation. Like I said, it's about 2.5 hours, so yeah, about 2 hours and 15 minutes. So definitely check it out on YouTube. Really appreciate the love. www.blackfathersofcleveland.com. Peace.